Game ain't over. The sun is shining. And it ain't over.
You wanted the best, you got the best. From my home studio on Long Island, New York, welcome to Ian Scotto Rocks. I am your host, Ian Scotto, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most infamous cult leaders of all time, David Koresh. Now, if you're a long-time, you really can't be a long-time viewer of the channel. The channel's relatively new, but if you've been watching my videos, you're probably saying, what in the hell does this have to do with your usual subject matter on Ian Scotto Rocks, which is rock music? I'm going to tell you exactly what it has to do with it. David Koresh was not only a cult leader. Prior to that, he was an aspiring rock star, and his music was very of the time. His music sounded like a lot of stuff that you would hear in the late 80s, and I would even dare to say comparable to some hair metal. I'm going to get into the backstory a little bit, but before we do any of that, let's actually play this and give a little reaction, and I'm going to see what you guys think. I'm going to pause this. If I ever am going to get canceled for anything, it's going to be me rocking out to David Koresh. They're going to be like, this YouTuber thinks that this cult leader made some banging music, but it's a catchy song. That hook, Madman in Waco, it's a catchy hook. I like the keyboards. I got to be objective here. Bad guitar solo, right? Here's the hook. It fades out here. All right. What is with, first of all these cult leaders who want to be rock stars? Charles Manson made music, but his music kind of sucked. That's a good song. I'm not going to lie. So you may be wondering, how do I even know about this? How did I discover it? I am just fascinated with this kind of stuff. I read the book, A Place Called Waco by David Thibodeau, who was actually the drummer for David Koresh's band. And he approached him at the infamous Guitar Center on the Sunset Strip. I guess David Thibodeau was just playing drums, and David Koresh said, hey, do you want to join my band? David Thibodeau was not a religious guy by any means, had no intention of joining a cult, but one thing leads to another, and he moves to Waco, Texas with David Koresh. I think it's musically a good song. I know that's like his number one song, if you want to call it that, of like stuff you could find on YouTube. That's definitely the best of it. And it's kind of reminiscent of certain songs from that time, right? I think of like Macaulay Schenker Group, Anytime, or Tesla, Changes. It's one of those late 80s rock ballads. And the interesting thing here too, if I go to Genius here, that you might be like, is the song him singing about himself? Which apparently it's not. And I did read about this, that there was a dispute that happened in Waco, Texas, prior to him taking over the Mount Carmel Church. And on Genius, it goes into this. Madman in Waco is a circa 1987 song by David Koresh, then known as Vernon Howe. That's his original name, very different name. Written during his feud with rival George Roden as both the promotion of his rightness and denunciation of Roden. The song is the best-known musical work by Koresh, following its use in numerous documentary films about the 1993 Waco siege. Although Koresh did not write the song about himself or the siege, many filmmakers have used poetic license to juxtapose Koresh's lyrics with his actions leading to and during the event that resulted in his death. Waco, the heart of Texas, is a city in central Texas, and then it goes into all that. But I know there was, there we go. If I scroll down here, the feud between George Roden and David Koresh began after Koresh initiated a sexual relationship with Roden's mother. Well, I'd be pretty pissed about that too if I was Roden. Lois, aged over 60, jeez, and amassed a following within the sect that challenged Roden's leadership. In 1985, a fire burned down an administrative building in Mount Carmel, causing more than $500,000 in damages. Roden blamed the fire on Koresh, who refuted the accusation. Seeking control over the compound, Roden subsequently kicked out Koresh at gunpoint, and Koresh resettled with 25 of his closest followers in Palestine, Texas. Yeah, interesting stuff, man. There's a lot of feelings, of course, on the Waco siege, if you know anything about that. And this is not a channel where you get political or anything. But what I can say is factual about David Koresh. He wasn't anyone who killed anyone, despite what people may think. You know, it was like the ATF and the gunfight that ensued that killed multiple followers of his, including children. The biggest issue with Koresh is that, as kind of alludes to here, he was having sex with everyone, including, I guess, women who were much, much older than him at the time, because it says 60 plus while he was 20 plus. And then he was engaged in, I guess you would say, assault of minors because of the age of those younger children, you could say, at the church. So, look, this is definitely not anything to celebrate David Koresh. As I said, I'll probably get canceled for rocking out to his music a little bit. But he is a fascinating figure. And the song goes kind of hard. Does it mean he would have made it as a rock star if he would have done that as opposed to becoming a cult leader? No, I don't think so. And the fact that he met Thibodeau at the Guitar Center at the Sunset Strip, I read the book years ago. I don't know if Koresh moved to the Sunset Strip to become a rock star with the likes of every other band at that time in 1987. But yeah, most of these bands, as we all know, don't make it. But it is a catchy song. I will give him that. And like I said, reminiscent of some other songs. Let me know what you think. Is this your first time hearing the music of David Koresh? As always, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to check out the merch store where I have this badass mug along with limited edition t-shirts. And look, we talk rock news on here. We do deep dives. And then every now and again, I talk about a cult leader who wanted to be an 80s hair metal star. Who knew? With that, you can check out this video above if you want to binge watch some of the other great content right here on Ian Scotto Rocks.